Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of Her Messy Bun. I am Danielle, and I'm a recovering overachiever. See, I struggle with feeling like I'm never doing enough, which is really, it's just so much fun when you are on maternity leave or coming back from maternity leave or trying to mom or trying to go on a vacation, and just being a mom in general, trying to balance all the things. So it's really interesting to feel like you're not doing enough as a mom and a business owner when really I'm doing so much. I'm doing a lot, and I had to come up with ways to figure out and see that I was doing a lot. So rather than thinking about what we achieve on an hour to hour basis or a day to day basis, I like to think about what I can accomplish on a month to month basis. This allows me to set my short term goals as monthly goals, and long term goals can be broken up into quarterly goals. Seeing it on a month to month basis gives you a bigger range, and it allows you to see, like, yeah, you might not have done something from like 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon, one Tuesday that month. However, that entire month, you probably did so much more than you thought you would have been able to accomplish. So I want to be honest here. As I look back at my first month coming back from maternity leave, I realized this. I was able to get so much done in my first month back, but I'm still telling myself that it was not good enough. So we need to learn to speak to ourselves better than this. And I'm guilty of it just as much as, well, I'm sure you are if you're listening to this. So I want to point out something. Accomplishments mean nothing if you don't know how to celebrate them. And I know the saying usually goes, accomplishments mean nothing if you don't have someone to celebrate with. However, you do. You have you. Learning to celebrate and be proud of what you've achieved is actually the first step to learning how to celebrate and achieve more, and being okay with not achieving enough, quote unquote. Because the more that we are proud of ourselves, the more pride we can find for ourselves, which means we can be in less competition with ourselves when it comes to how much you're trying to actually achieve. So think about everything that you've done this month and ask yourself, did you include rest? Did you include taking time off? Did you include the small things that were driving you nuts? Did you include remembering things? Remembering to include these things into the what did I achieve this month allows you to really look back and be proud that you took time off for yourself, that you didn't work that weekend, or you didn't work that night, or you were able to get a bunch of necessary, small, annoying, pesky tasks off your list. Looking back and seeing it as a whole versus an hour to hour basis or a day to day basis allows you to see things from the bigger picture. Tasks and work things do not make up who you are. You are allowed to be everything that you want. You are allowed to be multi-passionate. You're allowed to live a fulfilling life. You're allowed to take time off. And the easiest way to be able to see, think, and feel these things is by remembering to look at the big picture. Being self-employed, no, scratch that. Being employed does not mean that you lose yourself to the company. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. I wrote this podcast episode in morning pages because my prompt today, well, during morning pages that day, was, what did you achieve this month? And whenever I give a prompt, I also want to go into details and break down what it could mean or what else it could look like besides what you instinctively hear. I like to try and give a healthier or different perspective as to how to answer these kinds of questions, because I could ask that question and I can understand that I have the privilege of having a more growth mindset, a more open mindset, and be able to ask this question or ask myself this question and not dig myself into a grave of sorrow or depression. And I do the same thing with the intention cards. I like to make sure that I go into detail of what it could mean on a more positive note. Because I do pull intention cards for Morning Pages group. And today's card, or the day of me writing this episode, that card said, it was, by the way, really quick, it was from the Spirit Junkie by Gabrielle Bernstein. I will link it in the show notes, or if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll link it down below. But it's also in my link in bio Amazon store. Anyways, I digress. The card itself said, and I quote, "I'm willing to see my sameness with others. This opens my awareness in oneness." I'm going to say that again. I am willing to see my sameness in others. This opens my awareness to oneness. So I can read that card to you, or I could read it to myself and hear it one way while you hear it another way. And the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because a lot of times we fall deep into comparison mindsets when we think about our accomplishments. And for some, thinking about everything that we've done also means that thinking about everything that they haven't done. And instead of forgiving themselves they start to look at others, especially people doing similar careers as them, and start comparing themselves. But this card, this intention, is a great reminder that we can choose to see the sameness in others and still be proud of the things that make up who we are, the differences that make up who we are. Being aware of your own oneness does not mean that you have to be exactly like other people. And you can choose to connect with others, and rather than seeing others' accomplishments as jealousy, you can see it as a sign that greatness is on its way to you. Being exactly like somebody else is boring. Embrace yourself and you will never be bored again. I hope that you walk away from today's episode knowing this. 1, it's important to celebrate all of your achievements, even if it's, I got off the couch today and I went outside. Learn to celebrate so that you have more to celebrate. I like to celebrate whenever I don't breastfeed in bed, because when I breastfeed in bed, I don't end up going back to work, or I don't end up hanging out and playing with my son as much as I'd like to, or I end up just staying in bed because it's just so much easier to mom when you lay down next to your 2 little ones. But I celebrate when I'm not in bed and I'm breastfeeding somewhere else in the house. I know that might sound odd, or, why are you celebrating that? Well, some of us go through different journeys and some of us experience different things, and we have to be able to celebrate our own achievements throughout the day. And that's totally okay. Number 2, your achievements don't compare to others, because we are all walking different paths, and our journeys, while relatable, are incomparable. Number 3, I hope that you walk away from today's episode seeing what somebody else has, and that if you see what they have and you want it, or you're jealous of it, I hope that you see it as a sign that it is also on its way to you. Gabrielle Bernstein does talk about this in one of her books. I believe it's The Spirit Junkie. I've kind of read all of them, so I'm a little bit more confused as to which one it's in at this point. Or maybe it's in her newest one. Anyways, I hope that when you see what someone else has, instead of triggering your jealousy thoughts, or instead of triggering your anger for why do they have that and not me, which is also jealousy, I want you to see it as a sign that it's on its way to you. And the only way that it can find you is if you're open to it. So practice being proud for other people versus jealous of what other people have. Today's episode came straight from my Morning Pages notebook. As you can tell, I kind of had to stutter my way through the whole today's and this and that's. And Morning Pages is how I'm able to achieve my monthly goals, as well as reflect on everything that I'm working on. So if you are interested in joining me for Morning Pages, as always, your first session is free on me. And I just posted a video today. So today is Friday, June 3rd. I posted a video today teaching you the comparisons of what it's like doing Morning Pages with me and how I adjusted it for my ADHD brain. That video is over on TikTok at her.messy.bun. So go ahead and check it out over there. If you're not already following me on TikTok, that's where I hang out the most. So I'll see you over at TikTok. Bye, guys.